You're a budding tyrant. You want to control the world, control a nation, but there's this little thing in your way. It's called freedom! So how do you get rid of it? You wonder, how does a Western state lose its freedom? How do people lose their power? It doesn't happen overnight, you realize. It's a death of 1,000 cuts. Lucky for you, if you play it slow, it's hard to spot, but the first thing you need to know is, what is freedom? The Cambridge Dictionary defines freedom as a country where the government does not control what people say or do for political reasons, and where people can express their opinions without punishment. In modern times, the UK has been considered a free country, having one of the oldest parliaments in the world and being the birthplace of the Magna Carta, the first document to put into writing the principle that the law was a power unto itself and that the king and his government were not above the law. Historically, a big issue for you, as this laid the foundation for lasting legal concepts such as the ban on cruel and unusual punishment, trial by a jury of one's peers, and the idea that justice should not be sold, nor unnecessarily delayed. In this video, I will show you how this history of democratic reform is taken for granted and a class of neoliberal elites have taken control of the levers of power over decades. And if you're a budding tyrant, consider this a how-to guide. First, let's revisit the first requirement to be a free country. The government does not control what people say or do for political reasons. Step 1. Over decades, erode the freedom of the press until the UK ranks 33rd for press freedom in the world. Pay prominent journalists and broadcasters £350,000 a year, such as Emily Matallis of the BBC, who confirmed the BBC has conservative agents on the board, influencing the stories it writes and does not write. Here she is, speaking on the lack of bias of one of the largest news corporations in the country.
Why had the BBC immediately and publicly sought to confirm the government spokesman's opinion without any kind of due process? It makes no sense unless it was perhaps sending a message of reassurance directly to the government itself. Put this in the context of the BBC board, where another active agent of the Conservative Party, a former Downing Street spin doctor and former advisor to BBC rival GB News, now sits, acting as the arbiter of BBC impartiality. According to the Financial Times, he's attempted to block the appointment of journalists he considers damaging to government relations, provoking Labour's deputy leader, among others, to call it Tory cronyism at the heart of the BBC.
The agency refers to has been the head of political programming since 2017. Of course, this news comes after Matallis quit the BBC. Here you can see she was part of very smear campaigns she blew the whistle on. Here's Jeremy Corbyn in front of the Kremlin with a funny hat. Now with that important obstacle, that is the free press, neutralised. Don't be so comfortable with your stranglehold on journalism that you praise it on TV.
I look forward to them perhaps being appointed and being a bit more conservative and pragmatic in what is reported.
That's a rookie move. Now take note, in the 21st century, fascism does not begin with the issuance of jackboots. It begins in small ways, like banning anti-capitalist books in English schools and privatising Channel 4 to entrench the profit motive and therefore censorship even deeper in national news. But try not to make it so obvious you're out to shut them down, like the Culture Secretary, Nadine Dorries.
But Channel 4 is not like the BBC. It's not in receipt of licence fee money. It makes its money from commercial operations.
And so, although it's,
The architect of this privatisation was subject to a Channel 4 documentary on the influence of Christian fundamentalism on UK politics, where the head of the church still gets an automatic seat in the House of Lords, where they have final say over UK laws. I'll make a video covering the House of Lords soon. Consider it a need to know for the art of circumventing democracy. Now, one thing you're really going to need is money. Take note from Rupert Murdoch, who is now the biggest owner of the UK press. His publications, including The Sun, frequently push right-wing, anti-union, anti-immigrant material, made to enforce rule through division, an important tool in your arsenal that keeps the people fighting themselves, not you, and helps you to manufacture consent for further corruption. In fact, this is such an effective strategy, 2 billionaire press barons now own half of the top 10 daily newspapers in the UK. Now you and I know they didn't buy them to make sure they tell the truth. Just make sure to prevent hilarious hypocrisy like writers of the Daily Mail, which publishes anti-union, anti-strike headlines, going on strike. When the press prints what it's told to, well done, it's no longer the press. It's now become your propaganda ministry, a key step on the way to fascism. Now on to the next requirement for freedom that you must crush.